Today we are at IGO's company in Cologne. With IGO's it's all about the material plastic, from which here locally bearings, energy change and much more components are developed and produced. I'm Angela Schäufler from the internet portal developmentscout.com, and I'm very glad that the CEO, Frank Blase, takes now time for my questions.
Thank you, Angela. It's my pleasure.
Mr. Blase, every year you come up with many new products for the Renewable show. How many is it this time, and what are the highlights?
We are very pleased that, again, we have more than 80 news and extensions. And our highlights are, on the e-chain side, a new generation of what we call our super silent and clean room E6 chain, with more possibilities for the customers, circular motion, swiveling, opening, long stroke. It's very important for the semiconductor electronic industry. Just one thing on the cable side, a product that is easy to strip. We have a thread here that cuts open the insulation and that opens the quite sensitive area of this high flex cable without any destruction. Excuse me. And on the bearings, it's once again such a very unassuming, silly looking piece which took 10 years to develop. It's been a long-term dream of ours to develop a bearing for extremely high loads with a very long life, unlubricated, and for a very low price. And this is now our result. And customers in the material handling area, or trucks, handling devices in trucks are our targets here, and we think that they will try it and see how far they can go with that.
For the 5th time this year, IGOS is hosting the Manus Award for bearing applications.
Yes.
What are your personal favorite, and maybe you could explain why?
All 301 applications are my personal favorites. Excuse me. Because we are so happy that the event is accepted so well. This was the first time we extended it to a worldwide audience, and we got the 301 applications, which is fantastic. The favorites are certainly the winners. There's a Spanish omelette machine producing around 2,000 omelets per minute, so a highly industrial machine. And it's full with our bearings, and the reasons why are just heartwarming to us, because they reflect everything we have been working for in the last 30 years. No oil and grease used in lubricating the bearings. On the other hand, oil and fat splashes from the hot pans are attacking the bearings, and nothing happens. There's a washdown situation for the machines. It has bearings, linear bearings, swiveling bearings from our program, low cost and just excellent, and quite demanding application. The second one is also is a consumer product, a weed cutter, but not with nylon threads, but with knives, and the knife rocks against hard stones and other things, and is the bearing inside, the swiveling mechanism is our bearing, so it must not crack, it must survive this dirt and high vibration atmosphere, which it does. And the third one is a German, this one is from Portugal, the second one, and the third one is artificial fingers, prosthetics, and there the goal is to make it thin and still strong, and no lubrication, no squeaking, and so on. On the exotic side, my favorite is a flying machine. It's a backpack, a rocket backpack, like the Rocket Man from the movies, and it really exists. And the guy, the German guy, has flown with it, and the whole thing hinges, in the true meaning of the word, hinges on an Igubal swiveling joint. And yeah, I haven't. And he says that he has flown with it. We are not sure whether we should recommend any more flights. But it's an amazing application.
Mm-hmm. It's really interesting and international.
Yes, yes. Yeah, he may fly to Africa with that. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Not me. After the show is before the show. Which product developments, new materials and industries are getting your special attention this year?
In our Plastics for Longer Life drive, meaning making products at the core of which are high-tech polymers, and then products that last longer and are very, very affordable, cheaper than others. Our scope is very broad. What has been added more and more is what we would describe as low-cost automation, low-cost robotics. We have this RoboLink joint for very light, bionically inspired robotics, which has taken a lot of our development and time, and is now available from stock with this Hanover show, and we go on with this because the demand is there. Also, low-cost automation are very low-cost actuators, linear drives, based on the product that we've had for a long time, and people like them, and we are adding the motor and the coupling and sell them very, very efficiently. You can configure them online, get them in a few days, 3 to 4 days at a very low cost. This is to us is the lowest level of precision and sturdiness of the linear actuator market, and we see a sizable market there, and that's where we want to be.
Okay. I've never seen your plastic bearings in the context of renewable energy. Does IGOS not see any potential in this area? Or do you already have applications? Or do you see this developing in the future?
Well, if you haven't seen them, then you probably don't live in a desert area, because, or do you?
No.
No. Didn't think so. At least if you live in Germany. Our polymer bearings are used in large solar power plants with parabol mirror installations, if they turn with the sun, if they have some movement. And yeah, many of them are in the desert, like the project Desert Tech is now being talked about. And there we have had great success from the customer's point of view to use these elements, rust-free, dirt. They survive in dirt, and they're much cheaper than rolling element bearings with sealings, but in many cases last longer. We have some other minor applications in wind turbines, adjusting the rotor blades, a little bit in pumps for geothermal pumps and things like that. But the big solar plants is our biggest area.
Last year, IGOS has lastly expanded its test labs for energy chains and cables. To which extent of its capacity is it operating today?
Always full. There are about 192, 198 tests running as we speak. And the demand for data and the demand from our own R&D people to test the new products, the new cables, chains, is always increasing. So we are very happy that we made the expansion, and we are expanding inside now. We don't expand the space, but we add more machines and cram it up a little bit, and maybe go on 2 levels to cope with that.
Okay, and the last question: how is it the current supply situation by IGOS?
Very good.
Very good. Oh, that's good.
No, honestly, of course we are feeling the pinch from our suppliers, but our slogan delivery within or starting at 24 hours, and then for harnessing, for example, 3 to 10 days can still be upheld in most cases. And we achieved this because partly we have prepared, and partly we learned in the last 20 years to adjust to the situation, whatever it is, not to try to plan too far ahead, because as we see today, Japan or Libya or the next deadly virus can change the economy overnight, and we must be keen and alert enough to adapt to the situation and make the most of it. And that's what we are doing every day, and it's my personal, I invest most of my time, working time, in this effort, in the factory and logistics effort to keep that promise, because we know there's a huge market if we perfect it even more.
Okay. Thank you very much for this interview.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you.